Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Star Trek edition edition of the podcast. I am one of your hosts, James, and we are going at Mach 4 speed on the NTE Protector to talk about Galaxy Quest. Joining me, of course, is Science Officer Joe,
Oh, thank you for the promotion, James. Glad to be here.
Chief Engineer Chris,
I appreciate that. I did not earn this job, but I'll keep it for as long as you let me.
There you go.
and introducing Security Chief Arco.
Wait. He doesn't have a red shirt, does he?
No.
That's all I want to know.
Wait, Arco, do you have a last name? Because that's the primary concern here.
Okay, I do have a last name. You're right. In this movie, I do have a last name.
That's true. Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
Well,
I
audience,
believe it's Arco Fleegman.
Well, audience, we are covering Galaxy Quest as part of celebrating 60 years of Star Trek because, as I was told by Arco, reminded me in 2012, 2013, Galaxy Quest was named the 7th best Star Trek film of all time. And and it gives us an opportunity to have some other familiar faces to the podcast be part of our Star Trek celebration this year with Chris and Arco here. So we're going to dive right into it. We were kind of already diving right into it before we went live with the mics. So we're going to do what we always do with these movies if we remember when we first saw it and what we first thought about it. Joe, you said beforehand you saw it in the theater, so I'm going to start with you.
Yes, I did because it was, when I saw the trailer and I read, in the trades and whatnot, this is a Star Trek-like film. This is, generated from Star Trek. I had to see it. And so this is 1999, right, Arco?
Right,
So at that point, where are we in the Star Trek timeline of films? 99.
They had just finished. So 95 was the Next Generation. I'm sorry, the one where Kirk died, and then the year after was First Contact with. So 96. So I don't know what happened after that, to be quite honest with you.
We might be up to Insurrection and.
Insurrection happened in 2002, I think. Wasn't that with Tom Hardy?
Yeah. No, that was Nemesis.
Oh, okay.
Nemesis.
That was Nemesis, yeah. So this came before the last two Star Trek films, which were forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed the film. I loved it. I like Sigourney Weaver. I've seen all the films she was in prior to that. That was the big draw for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I laughed. I had a good time. It's you have a good. I watched it again today for the first time in about, my God, maybe 10 years, and I was hysterical at times, just laughing out loud. It's just a fun sci-fi comedy adventure movie with a great cast. And
Great cast.
They hit all the beats.
Great cast.
There are things you expect to happen, and it does. And then there's unexpected things, especially like the last half of the third act. There's a lot going on there that I completely forgot about. Oh, that's really cool. So yeah, it was that type of experience then and now for me with this film.
Arco, you said you did not see it in the theater.
So I didn't see it in the theater, and I wasn't all that interested in it until I caught it on like HBO, probably 6 months to a year later. And being a big fan of Tim Allen at the time, back in the 90s, I thought that everything he did was pretty funny, fairly funny, and you love Sigourney Weaver and everything. But I did think that somebody as big as Sigourney Weaver was kind of like, almost like a step down a little bit. But the one thing about this film that I truly, looking back on it, there was, I don't think anybody really took a step down on this film. I think they all really went into it knowing what the film was about, and they gave it their all. And I mean, look at Alan Rickman. The man is a classically trained actor, and he got into this film. And I'm telling you, he was the best science officer this side of Spock and anybody's ever seen. So, kudos to the cast. Big cast, in this type of film, and they pulled it off great, in my opinion.
Arco, I think they embraced the idea of the ensemble.
Oh, I think so. I think so too. And
they put their egos aside and they,
yeah, exactly. I think Tim Allen worked probably better in this than he ever did on his own show with everybody together. You know, he wasn't. You know, he may have been the lead, but it was the ensemble that was the whole star.
Chris, what's your history with Galaxy Quest?
So I honestly don't remember. It's one of those movies that I don't remember how I found it. I think probably like Arco, I was just flipping around, and for me, it would have been Alan Rickman who drew me in. You know, so I've loved it since I watched it, and I've only come to appreciate it more as the years have gone on. There were things when I first watched it that I didn't necessarily understand. And by that, I mean, it's not like I watched it when I was a kid and, jokes went over my head. It was, I didn't understand the style. I didn't necessarily understand some of what they were going for. And so there were choices that I was like, okay, like I kind of, but it really resonated with me the more I learned how the actors really owned those roles. Was really what it was for me, is the actors really buying into the different characters. And I love the cast. I love the way that some of them played a type like Alan Rickman and like Tim Allen, and then some of them are so very much against type, like Sigourney Weaver. Sam Rockwell is hilarious. So it really was. It was an all-star cast in so many ways. It was just loaded. It's very, for me, it's very Clue-like. It's a lot of good, talented people learning how to play off of each other. And that play was really important to make it work. And I've already dove headfirst into the pool of why I love the movie and everything. But ultimately, my history with it is I can't remember when I was introduced to it or how I was introduced to it. All I know is that I've loved it ever since. It's one of my top movies. I will watch it whenever it's on. I quote it all the time, and I will highly recommend it to other people. But I would like to be there with them when they watch it, because it'll be such a delight to see how they react to it.
Yeah, I same thing with you, Chris. I don't remember when I first saw this movie. I was not in the theaters, and I don't know how long after it came to like, home video or DVD or HBO. I mean, I can't remember when I saw it, but when I saw it first, I remember really enjoying it. And I think maybe I've seen it only a couple of times. I mean, rewatching it for this podcast, now I've seen all things Star Trek since I watched it. And I can really appreciate it a lot more for what it was what it did and was doing. And I was saying before we started the podcast, like I intend to to rewatch it, just because I've been busy, in a couple, I'll watch it one part of it one night and the rest of it next night, and then I just flew right through it. I just kept watching it because it's this is a great movie, and everybody has great parts.
Everybody.
I think my favorite. I mean, I guess we can start jumping ahead because we go in our origin. My favorite character, I think, is what Tony Shalhoub is doing through the whole. Tony Shalhoub is fantastic. He's
so funny, so
good. He's just feeling it he's feeling the vibe the entire time. He's just everybody gets beamed up and they're all terrified, jelly and all that stuff, and he's like, wow, man, that was pretty cool. It's almost like a stoner. He almost plays like a stoner, but he's not a stoner.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Well, listening to the again, Chris, I refer back to the podcast. What went wrong? I listened to that episode in preparation for today, and that's what he did. Tony Shalhoub picked, could this guy be high during this whole thing?
I was just coming up with that. That's what he said. Oh wow, that's great.
That was his choice. That was his choice.
So funny.
And they cut. I guess they had to cut scenes that were a little bit more particular about that. But that was his choice to play this character. So but I like when he hugs the engineering crews. Like, you got it right again, guys.
Come in.
Great job. Bring it in. Come here.
Bring it in. More. I mean, it clearly is. And Joe, you would have to correct me because you're more of the Star Trek person. I think it was clearly going for the vibe of maybe what we thought how the original series crew felt about each other at the time. Maybe they still feel about each other.
Oh yeah. Although, if I may just interject real fast, it wasn't until the last 10, 15 years and the advent and the growth of social media that you started hearing a lot more stories about the behind the scenes, especially from George Takei. He's always been very vocal since social media became a thing about the personalities and some headstrong ones and some that he butted up with. William Shatner, no surprise there. Those two definitely have very different personalities, so you could see them butting heads and everything. Did we ever know before that there was problems on any of these sets? I'm like, I never heard anything about anybody when it came to this. So seeing how they treated each other, or how some of the lower actors, some of the the lower co-stars felt about Tim Allen's character, who got all the glory and hogged all the attention at the cons or whatever. I did wonder if they were directly aiming that at what was thought of William Shatner as a Star Trek man, as Captain Kirk through all those years in the first 3-4 years of the show.
I think that's possible. I think Hollywood is kind of insular.
Yeah.
They would know each other's business,
Mm-hmm.
and people work for different producers and companies, whatnot. So those stories would probably get around.
Mm.
And like you said, Arco, it's before the dawn of the digital age, so it might not make it to the public unless it's shows up in Variety or the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah,
or something like
right.
But yeah, I think that might have gone into the mix when this film was being prepared. Yeah.
I mean, I think also at the time, I don't know if they all had biographies. I know George Takei had a biography. William Shatner had a biography.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Nimoy did. I don't know if Walter Koenig did, but they all, I think once I know George's biography, I definitely talked about the on-set stuff that was happening and how, as was mentioned, I think by Alan Rickman's character, how Shatner would sometimes cut scenes or change lines to be more in favor of him. I think Alan Rickman says some throwaway scene in this movie, like you cut the scene, like
you cut me out of episode 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think that's when they're real fighting or pretend fighting. I can't remember which.
That was real fighting at the beginning.
That was the real fighting at the beginning. Yeah. So I think this was all based upon like those
stories.
I mean, I think some of that is probably true. I mean, it's hard to say we're not there and we don't have those people there, but like it's true enough that that's become like what's known as that the original series cast didn't, get along as well as future Star Trek casts would get along.
Right.
And it was not unique to the Star Trek cast, obviously, either. I mean, I've heard other shows where,
Well, even future Star Trek cast in movies, there were problems. I mean, Shatner almost got Maria Sirtis fired from First Contact. He wanted her
Really?
gone.
Why?
Yes. He didn't. I guess she wasn't acting up to par for his.
Oh, you mean Generations or First Contact?
First Contact.
It must be Generations.
Well, it has to be Generations because he was dead. He was dead by First Contact. The year First Contact came.
Oh yeah, I'm Generations. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
I'm just.
Yeah.
They all run together after a while.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. Okay.
Too much Star Trek. Way too much.
I mean, Chris, what's your favorite scene, favorite character, favorite moment of this movie?
Oh man. I guess so. My favorite is probably Sigourney Weaver, honestly, because her lines are so her dialogue is great, but it's delivered so well when she yells. Who wrote this episode? Whoever wrote this episode, it's badly written.
Well,
I had that written down.
I was gonna say.
I had that written down also, Chris.
I mean, she's got that line. She's got, hey, I have one job on this ship. It's stupid, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
And she gets in on the whole minors. Oh yeah, they look so young. That line, she's part of that too. So Sigourney Weaver and just the choices that I don't know that I necessarily felt that. Well, actually, I do know. I did not feel this way before I knew how much input she had into the character. And how much she wanted it to be that way, wanted the character to be that way. So I really dig her. I guess favorite scene, honestly, there are two for me. One, and they both have Alan Rickman.
Mm-hmm.
One is when he's in the trailer and they go, there he goes. And he's got the jacket over himself and he's trying to escape in the very, very beginning. He doesn't want to be at the convention. And then, Tim Allen says the show must go on. He just goes, damn you. So that whole where he starts going into, the British pride. I used to do Shakespeare. That's all very funny to me, especially as an actor. And then I think the other thing is when they I should say Laredo is another favorite of mine. I love when he's trying to fly the ship out, but the other favorite scene,
maybe she moved to the right.
And they're all like,
everybody's leaning, like it's really just well done. But
leaning.
I think but Alan, it's when they all get their food. And it's like, this is real grass-fed steak and everything. It's like, how are you enjoying your blood ticks? And to find out that those were actual ticks and stuff in that bowl, and they kept jumping out, like in real life during filming, is just bonkers to me. So I love how he just keeps getting the short end of the stick. This food creator can apparently make whatever you want, and it made him like bugs.
Yeah.
I just like the luck that he has is just tremendous.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Even when he saves the Thermians, he's like unbelievable.
He's like, yeah.
I know. And the thing is, he comes to expect it, right? But like it's so good. And also, I'm sorry, I did neglect to say Alan Rickman saying, "By Grapthar's hammer, what savings!"
Yeah.
When they clip that and the 3 balloons go up in the air, there are too many moments, and I think that's the thing about the movie is like, I adore all the characters. There are so many quotable lines. It's just brilliant.
Arco, what's your favorite moments if they haven't been poached already?
I pretty much listen. I was gonna go exactly with Sigourney Weaver, but I think anything Sam Rockwell is in, because he epitomized the red shirts, okay, but in this case it was the no last name, so that it was like, yeah, you have a last name, guy. Do I he like totally overacts it, and that was like the beginning of Sam Rockwell, because that year you also had him in The Green Mile. A couple of years the next year he was in Charlie's Angels as the bad guy. And it just like snowballed into a whole career that the guy had a couple of Oscar nominations, an Oscar win, so he's gold now. But he's as good now as he's as good then as he is now. And pretty much every scene that he was in was gold. So anything that guy was in was. He screamed.
I love when he's like staring at Rickman, and Rickman says, "What?" He says, "I'm just jazzed to be on the show."
Yeah, he says,
like,
"I'm just jazzed."
I use that line all the time.
He's a glorified extra, and he gets on the show, and they give him a last name in the credits at the end of the movie.
Yeah, Guy Fleegman.
Oh, it's great.
Security Chief Rock Ingersoll, something like that. Yeah.
And he was modeling his performance off of Bill Paxton in Aliens.
Oh, was he really? Okay,
that's
cool.
Great. Yeah,
that totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see that. It's just once you hear it, you're like, oh yeah,
100%.
Which again does speak to you're right, absolutely, Arco. It speaks to the skill of like, oh, I identified this as its own character, but now that you say that, yes, I see the caricature, I see the imitation too. Like that's really impressive.
And from what I remember from the podcast, they were saying like he was actually not sure about taking this movie because he wanted to do serious drama because he had just done The Green Mile.
Right.
And he was like, should I do comedy? And then I forget what happened, but he ended up obviously taking the role.
Well, he's got a knack for it, and all of them have that the kind of deadpan delivery. I mean, that's the whole movie's deadpan. I mean, it's not
exactly.
It's not slapstick for the most part, and it's got a couple of scenes like that, but they all played this 100% seriously, which makes it even funnier. So, and not in a bad way. It just comes off funny. It's a comedy, but it wasn't intended to be a comedy to them. The way that they acted through this. So that's what's great.
Yeah, the director was a Dean Parasot.
Yes.
That was his mandate when he got the materials. Like, I don't want to make a comedy. I want to make a drama.
Right.
He's like, he wants to make a science fiction drama. It just so happens that these are the people in it.
It ends up being a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, what's your favorite character, favorite scene, if it hasn't been spoken of or speak of
Sigourney
again?
Weaver is my favorite character in the film. Harkening back to our last episode, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, when they're trying to get to the core and they come to the air ducts, and she goes, "Why is it always ducks?"
Yeah.
And that just made, it's like, that's a throwback to all the 50s, 60s, and 70s sci-fi shows where people are constantly crawling through an air duct. And they're always huge enough for a human being to get through.
Yeah. There's always a fan.
There's always a fan, and there's always a fan, and there's always a drop. There's always a drop too.
Yeah.
There's a drop, right? So yeah, I love that scene. Early on in the film, though, I like the scene where Jason is going through. He's hogging it up. He's prancing around at the con. Then he goes to the bathroom and he hears these two guys talking about him, and he has this epiphany, and he goes home and he gets drunk, and then of course the Therians show up on his doorstep the next day. I thought that was a very good scene. Obviously, that scene has to be there to drive the film forward. The character development.
Mm-hmm.
And the third act is just a lot of movies fall apart in the third act, whether they're drama, comedies, big sci-fi films, superhero films. This film just keeps going, and it really revs up. And this his heel turns in the third act. There's things that surprised the hell out of me because I haven't seen it in so many years. It just keeps on going, and when you think it's over, it's not. I mean, even when they crash through into the convention, right? And sure enough, they're all out there taking a bow, and who comes out of the ship last? Saris. And he just grabs that disintegrator gun and he evaporates him, and the crowd goes crazy again.
I love that all the fans point their like fake guns and
yes,
the little Nerf dart. It's so funny. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. So those are some of my favorite scenes. But again, I love the third act of this film. It just keeps getting better and better as it goes along, this movie.
I think this movie works so well, and again, listening to the behind the scenes of it a little bit makes it like it's got drama, real drama in it. Like you said, like Joe,
like
stakes, when he has that moment where he's like, "Oh, am I the butt of the joke? Am I like?" And then when he's actually has to tell Malthazar that they're actors, and
that was
he basically breaks his heart as he's dying, so or getting tortured. So
tortured.
Yeah.
We'll say something for Saris. At least when he saw just a few minutes of the historical documents, he knew that it was a TV show. So I guess on his planet they have actors, bad actors, obviously, because they're he realized what it was right away, and then he forces him to go and tell him. What a cruel bastard.
Yeah,
it really is. You're right. It's impressive in how much of a drama it is. Like the twists make sense, and they have. It's really impressive. They carry gravitas despite the humor, but like I really like the creativeness, the creativity of my ship is dragging mines. It's a great moment. Like it's a great action moment.
Completely forgot that.
Yeah, it really is.
Chris, the comedy's derived from the situations. So, like real life, it's not slapstick, although there are moments of that in there. It doesn't seem like the comedy is set up. It doesn't seem like every 30 seconds there's going to be like in a TV show there's going to be a laugh. It's organic. It's all organic, and it just works perfectly.
Oh, I forgot. Actually, I do have one more favorite moment. Then I want to go back to you, James, and I'm going to mute myself so I stop. But like the whole moment with the teleporter, it turned inside out and it exploded.
Gross.
Did he say it exploded?
Well, that's a callback to Star Trek: The Motion Picture when when they beam up the other Vulcan, and it's we got back, didn't live long, but they don't show us what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Well, I think Chris, you and I talked about this when we first listened to the podcast about this. Is that the acting moment where Tim Allen has to tell Malthazar that they're actors? That was like Alan Rickman and Tim Allen had some some conflict on the set because of different acting styles, and Tim Allen, I guess, was shared. He suffered a loss early on in life, and he had some tough trials before he got to where he was, and he apparently never really dealt with it. So when he had to have a serious moment, he after they did the scene, he said to the director, I'm going to go in my trailer because I'm feeling some stuff that I don't like feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, it made me feel things that I don't want to feel, that I didn't want to feel, or something.
Sure.
Yeah. And Alan Rickman, I think, was like, oh, he can. I think Alan Rickman was I think he has a cutting wit, so he's like, I think
he says, yeah, he says, I think he just experienced acting for the first time. Although I will say, I'm sorry, James, you're going to talk about the journal?
I was, but we can go wherever you want to go. Let's go ahead.
No, go talk about the journal, because I think that's an important postscript too.
Well, there is Alan Rickman, like, I guess I don't remember who published it after his passing, but there's a Alan Rickman's journals out there for you to read where he's journals through his time and acting, and they're like short little segments. Sometimes they're days apart, sometimes they're days together. But anyway, there's segments from the Galaxy Quest one, and he talks about his like time on the set. Tim Allen, because I guess he sort of feels like on the set it's his job to make everyone feel funny because he's not really looking to have feelings. He's always making jokes. He was doing hijinks on the set, and so he and Tim Allen would butt heads over just professional conduct, I guess. Or Tim Allen be telling so many jokes that the director would have to like yell over them or tell them to stop so they could actually film the scene. And that was like Alan Rickman, a Shakespearean trained actor. This is not how you run a set. Yeah, so I think by the end though they said they found a way to work with each other. But Chris, was there anything I missed highlighting or?
No, I mean that's it. You really do. You learn through you learn through his journal that there's an entry he writes about how there's a day where it feels like he and Tim finally understand each other a little bit better and they respect one another.
It doesn't that also parallel what happens in the film also?
Yeah.
I mean, basically totally at the end, that's begrudging, shakes his hand, earlier in he goes, I see you took your shirt off again.
I was literally Arco. Absolutely, that was exactly what I was thinking.
That's the kind of wit that he had. But I mean, I guess at the end, look, they played themselves in this movie. If you look at it, okay, Tim Allen's the comedian, wants everybody to laugh. Comes from that side of the acting world, and the other, and Rickman comes from a Shakespeare, so it was classically trained Shakespearean actor. So by the end, in the movie, they were button heads, and obviously in real life they were doing the same, and both in the movie and in life they'd seem to have come to some sort of agreement. I would love to know if they ever talked to each other after the movie, though. So.
It sounds like they did a little bit. Okay. Like they weren't best friends or anything, but they did.
Maybe they ran into each other and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and all stuff like that.
Yeah, and Tim was pretty upset to hear about Rickman's death. I mean, there was supposed to be a sequel, and they absolutely stopped talking about that entirely as soon as Rickman died.
Well, you couldn't do it out, and of course. Didn't they have problems at the set Next Gen in the first year with? Because Patrick Stewart, Shakespearean actor.
Well, he went the opposite way than Tim Allen. He was like so serious.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when they were like joking on the set, he like one time was like, "We are actors.
We are actors."
Yeah.
I thought I always like to correlate these things with other TV shows or movies, but I thought the relationship between Jason and Alexander in this movie is a lot like Hawkeye and Charles Emerson Winchester III in MASH. It's like they become at the end they become frenemies. They just learn to respect each other, but they never embrace or anything like that.
No.
So.
I'm curious, I haven't watched this movie. Is the takeaway in the third act before they go to Earth that because they saved the ship that Malthazar thinks that when he confessed to them, it was just a joke? Or does he accept that they were actors and they just happened to save their ship and their people?
No, I think he thought it was a ploy.
Yes, because then at the end, he sort of says,
I agree with that. Yeah,
he sort of says something along the lines of, you
very clever deception.
I got you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that they are just sweetly naive to the point that they believe what they believe, and you're not going to change their mind, especially since the historical documents are fairly tame and good natured, and there's always a happy ending in sitcoms, right? In those things. Right. So they see the positive. They are the positives as opposed to the bad aliens. The totally negative. So. I think at the end he said, "Yeah, you almost had me."
And most of their society is based on the historical documents.
Exactly.
And again, that's a callback to a piece of the action with the book. On the Iosians in Star Trek.
Oh right, yes.
Right? Don't say anything bad about the book. That's what we. Here's a book on the Chicago 1920s, and they based their society on that. And then Kirk falls into that role, and obviously mitigates the situation at the end. But yeah, it's a lot of callbacks to Star Trek in this film, and I think it was intended, but it works. It just it works so well.
Yeah, the screenwriter who I don't know the name. They did a great they did their homework on science fiction
Oh, I'm
and
sure. Yeah.
tropes and stuff. Like they have reference like most. I guess it's mainly Star Trek, but they do have hints of other just science fiction, things that are just part of what we
They hit the
consider.
tropes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no robot in the film. So there's no, I don't
Hell,
think there's any callbacks to Lost in Space. Although at the beginning, Tommy's a kid, right?
Yeah.
Tommy is
Yeah.
Piloting the ship, and Rickman is tight ass. So that could have been Dr. Smith and Will, I guess. But
I like that Rickman is always wearing the headpiece, even
Always.
when
Always.
Sigourney Weaver's calling him at home. He didn't
He's
take
got
that.
the headpiece on.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten really when watching this that, like you were saying, the third act, like when Saris comes in and shoots them, like, oh my god, what's happening? Like I don't remember like this
I
turn. Like,
completely forgot
how
that.
are they
yeah.
getting out of this?
He had an image inducer to look like Fred. Yeah.
I'm curious. I think we know the answer, but as a joking thing, if this actually happened to the original series crew, I don't think they would be able to survive one moment on a real Enterprise with.
No, absolutely not.
No.
You kidding
Shatner
me?
would be the first one to get blasted,
I
probably.
mean, Shatner would like just throw somebody in front of him and say, like, as a human shield. Are you kidding me? Take him.
Maybe Sulu could survive if he can get a hold of a sword, right?
Maybe.
Because he has martial arts training or whatnot, but but the rest of them, I doubt.
Well, I was just thinking, like when Tim Allen's when he's being on the planet being thrown out of the rock creature, I'm like, Shatner would be dead.
He'd
Like,
be dead. He'd be dead. He's trying.
dead.
Shatner's trying to kiss him.
So actually, I'm glad you mentioned the rock monster. Out of curiosity, did you all have a favorite alien character and or alien design? Because we got a bunch of good ones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the production stuff is great.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think. I think the look of the alien species that I'm sorry, that Missy Pyle is from, when she's making when she's making out with Tony Shalhoub, and all of a sudden you start seeing tentacles everywhere, and they're like, oh my god, that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny, or what they look like, originally what they look like. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to change this our appearance for you. And they're all screaming and everything because they look like big long jellyfish and everything. So yeah, I think that looks fantastic.
I think the look of Saris is amazing. Stan Winston. I mean, I would expect no less from Stan Winston, but it was
great.
I mean, again, this is I would say like they were filming a legit science fiction movie, so Saris looks like a legitimate science fiction, villain, if not character.
Yeah.
Like,
they did a lot of great makeup and practical effects on this in this movie, which is it's pre digital effects. Just the dawn of it, so they weren't going to spend that much on it, and they didn't, and it came out better than a lot of other movies that were there at the time. So good job. Yeah.
Marco, we talked about that in our Star Trek 6 episode. How they, that was made in '91, and how they really took advantage of practical effects, including filming the entire prison sequence in a mine, a real mine.
Sure,
Yeah.
Why not? God, I love that movie. We'll talk about that some other time, but I love that movie.
I mean, Chris, like I think you mentioned when you first saw this movie, I think the reason why it didn't do well is because the people in the marketing team when they saw it, and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
Well, they didn't know what to do with it, but also the way it was. I think my understanding, the way it's advertised, it looks like it's making fun of Star Trek. Like you really have to. So there's a really excellent documentary called Never Surrender, and it's about the movie and the making of the movie and the fact that it wasn't successful. But the thing was, it's easy to believe they're making fun of Star Trek, and especially Star Trek fans, right? If you just see clips of Justin Long and his friends, it's like, oh, you're making fun of the nerds. How original, right? But like when you watch it, it really is a love letter. It's absolutely a love letter. It's acknowledgement of like, yes, there's silliness, but look at all the heart, and look at all the community, and look at all the friends you make, and like the wonder, the joy, all those things, right? But how do you capture that, especially in a time that is, pre-social media? So like, I think they didn't know how to market it. I think that a lot of people made assumptions when they watched it that they were being mocked as fans, and if you're not really a fan of Star Trek, why would you see this, right? If it's being portray it as a science fiction movie, why on earth would you go see this? Oh, great cast. It's weird they're in this. How far the mighty have fallen. It's easy to jump to a lot of conclusions with very little to go off of. So I think there were a lot of reasons to not go see this in movie theaters.
And that's the reason why I did go see, because I am a Star Trek fan. That's why I went to see it.
Right. So, guys, I've never been as huge a Star Trek. I'm proficient in my Star Trek knowledge, mostly from the movies, but I never got into the fandom, which I knew about in the 80s, because of one. I'm telling you, guys, if you never saw this clip, you got to look at it on YouTube. The first half of this movie was directly because of the Saturday Night Live skit when William Shatner was on there, and he's making fun of the two guys nerding out and all asking all the questions and everything, and he lashes out at them and says that to John Lovitz's character or something like you over there, have you ever even kissed a girl? And he makes them cry practically. And that's how Tim Allen acts at the beginning, acts towards his fans and everything. And then at the end of the movie, it, like Chris said, it really is a love letter that this fandom has been alive and kept the memory of this show alive all these years, to the point that now, in the credits, you see that the show is back better than ever. Yeah. Everybody's grown up. Everybody's matured. They have special effects. Guy has a last name, and so it was because of the fandom that kept them alive and brought the show back. So I think Chris is 100% correct. It is an absolute love letter to the Star Trek fans. And as I've learned, being fans of other things, especially through social media, community is a very big thing. And if you have other people that have similar interests, it helps you get through a lot of different things, because you have something to fall back on. As you saw, a lot of the characters, like Justin Long's friends, they all had something to fall back on that they had in common.
Yeah. I love that line though with Justice after he's like, it's real. He's like, oh my God, I knew it.
I know.
Yes.
When he leaves the house with the Roman candles, the mother goes, well, at least he's outside.
He's outside the house.
Wasn't that Susan from Seinfeld?
Was it Susan?
I think so.
Oh, it could be. I didn't.
Heidi, her first name is, I can't think of the name.
It could be.
Yeah.
Susan from where?
Susan from Seinfeld, the one that George killed with the crummy envelopes.
Yes, that's her.
Really?
Okay. Wow. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Okay. At least he's outside.
I mean, Chris, just going aside from that Star Trek fans, when they first saw this, might have been, slighted and not sure they wanted to go see a film that was going to make fun of them. I think they also this was advertised to go against Stuart Little during Christmas and advertised as a family movie / kids movie. Ooh. And kids were coming out of it like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what happened?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's there for? It's funny because there really isn't anything much there for kids.
No,
right?
At all.
It's not cartoony enough. The humor doesn't make a ton of sense to them. There's not really much for kids there.
Yeah, you had the Fribbles there for a hot minute, and then they started trying to kill them and everything with the miners and everything.
Yeah, with the teeth. Yeah.
Hit him with a rock.
Yeah, they literally resort to cannibalism.
Yeah, exactly.
You see them throw organs up in the air.
One of my favorite lines. Hit him with a rock.
Yeah.
It's
all mini killer crocs.
Yeah, that's right.
Try and form a rudimentary.
In the podcast, they say that one woman, I think, wrote in her feedback card, like, how dare you? This is a Tim Allen movie. Because Tim Allen had just, I think, done the Santa Claus. He was doing Tool Time and
Toy Story.
So this was not expected for Tim Allen at the time, I guess, taking a kid to this movie. So, and then I found it interesting just going back and revisiting some of the behind the production. Like the original director for this movie was going to be Harold Ramis.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, that's his type of film. His type of humor. So I could have seen that.
His mandate, though, he didn't want any comedic. No, he didn't want any actor who was previously in a science fiction franchise.
I thought the thing was he didn't want Tim Allen.
No, he didn't. Well, at least what they say on the podcast. Well, one,
I don't remember. Remind me.
Sigourney Weaver wanted in right away because the script happened to get to her, but Harold Ramis said no. Like kept saying,
Right,
like,
Yeah.
because she's too well known with
Right,
Alien.
right, right,
There's
right.
no
Right.
way that people are going to buy this. That's right.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Tim Allen apparently he had a lunch with him, and is it Barry Katzenberg? Am I getting that name right? Yes, the head of
Mhm.
DreamWorks at the time.
Yeah.
Um, he, Ramis, and Tim Allen had a lunch. And Barry Katzenberg, I guess, told Tim Allen basically he had the job, and then when they met with Ramis, Ramis was more tentative because I guess Ramis was he had misgivings about doing with Tim Allen because he didn't quite get Tim Allen's humor, and he had an issue when he did a movie with Robin Williams earlier, who with that the name escapes me. And the problem with that movie, Ramis thought he gave Robin too much free reign, and he didn't reel him in as a director,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of caused the downfall of the movie. And he's like, I guess he felt the same way, not knowing Tim Allen's humor. He didn't know how he was going to direct him, and he didn't want to have it like fall apart the same way that movie did.
Although, in fairness, nobody was ever going to rein in Robin Williams.
Robin Williams,
I mean,
no.
Right. No, yeah,
It
no. I
just-
mean, good luck to
give
good luck
him
to
the
that
script
piece.
and
Force
see
of
what you
nature,
could do with
Robin
this. See what you could do with this, and we'll see you at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
He
Yeah.
did the script.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think Ramis and then Ramis hit some other roadblocks. I think I forget what else. There were a few other things that they wanted to do that he wasn't so. And then he eventually stepped back, and they reached out to whose name I'm forgetting again, the director, Dean Paraset. And then as soon as they did that, the first thing they cast was Sigourney Weaver and Tim Allen were in. So because I think Barry Katzenberg would be happy to have Sigourney Weaver, and Tim Allen they were happy to have as part of it. But I think it would have been interesting if Harold Ramis had done it too. I always think Harold Ramis' stuff is interesting.
I agree. Yeah.
You know,
So I always again, something that you didn't find out until social media. Watching the film, especially the first time, when they are going through the ductwork and towards the end, and Sigourney Weaver and Tim Allen, and they turn the corner and they see the fans and the chompers and everything, and
Yep.
she says, "Forget that," but that's not what she said.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm like, listen. That's not what she said. Her lips said something else. Now I know it's a
Mhm.
PG-13
got dubbed.
movie. You can get away with one of those, okay? One F-bomb, I'm sure you can get away with. But I'm like, who cut that out, and why did they leave that in? That is like terrible editing. And there is a story behind it which I don't have on me right now. You'll have to look it up. But there is a reason why they left it in. But that's like the missed punch from The Godfather, the Sonny missed punch, Joe. I mean,
Yes,
you
definitely.
once you see it, you can never unsee
You
it.
never unsee it.
Never unsee it. What are you doing? So that's
Yeah.
another favorite moment right there.
Wow, the Sonny.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That is a good comparison.
yeah,
that is a good one. Yeah.
yeah.
Really, I think it really speaks to. It's really interesting to me that it speaks to the quality of the movie. That we can name all these moments when you're like any moments we missed, and it's like literally every single one of them.
Yeah.
But also every time one of us names a moment, everybody else is like, "Oh yes, I was thinking of that too." Like it's really, honestly, like the movie holds up so well, and the humor is so excellently executed. It's really just very impressive writing and excellent execution.
And I've learned today when I was reading up on it that the growth of cons, whatever they may be. I mean, San Diego is its own thing, but I mean,
Right.
since this movie came out, it became more of a thing to have the actors, the showrunners from these shows to show up at these cons to make basically to show the fans that without you we would not be here. And
Right.
you wouldn't know, we wouldn't have half of the success if it wasn't for the fan. It's an acknowledgement of me, Joe, James, Chris, all of our fanhood. We've been fans for various things for forever. And boy, oh boy, I would love for some of the actors, stars, sports fans to acknowledge some of the things that I've gone through, let alone the merchandise we've bought or the money we paid in tickets or whatever to go to games or sacrifice for all of our fanhood. So it's great that this movie helped bring about a new era in fanhood and appreciation for the fans. And I think that
That's
I think that you could see that. Yeah.
That's a really, really great point,
Mhm.
Arco. I'm really glad you mentioned that. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Good or bad, like they've also learned, like as we say, sometimes they've learned a little bit of fan service sometimes, of like actually listening to the audience and using the con experience to actually, you know, show what's coming up, and as opposed to previously, like, you know, fans I think were just siloed, like, okay, we're just, you know, we're gonna ignore them, we're not gonna show them anything, they're just gonna take what we put out there and that's it. And you know,
Right.
I think it's become a little bit sometimes not a good thing to be that collaborative, but it's become a little bit more collaborative with, like, you know.
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that they listen to a little bit of the feedback. You can't do everything. You can't make everybody happy, so I understand that. But as far as them listening to us, I think that, well, let's go with Marvel. You know, I mean, Marvel hit a rich vein, starting with Iron Man, and the fans started coming out in droves for all the movies, and they started giving us what we wanted, and they listened to us with most of the stuff, and they stopped listening in 2019, obviously, but yeah, absolutely, I think that was all part of the fan experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a fan, I was at the very first Star Trek convention here in New York.
Were you really? When was that?
1971. 1971, yeah.
Wow.
Still
See,
in high school.
that's amazing. That, I mean, Joe, I was born in '73, as you know, so I know you're a little bit older than me. But it is amazing that they had those types of things even as far back as then. I would not have thought that something like that would have happened until the late '70s or early '80s. You know.
You know, before Star Trek fandom, there was comic book fandom, Jerry Bales and people like that.
Yes, yeah, that I would think plenty of those,
yeah,
but
but Star Trek was the thing that put conventions and fans, you know, fan appreciation on the map. You know, they came together, and that's not the convention, James. Where I almost ran down Jimmy Doohan. That was a couple of years later.
Who was at the first convention, Joe?
Shatner was there.
Wow.
Wow.
I think Nemo was there. I know DeForest Kelly was there because you know, they had microphones on either side. You could go up and ask a question, and I just said, you know, from where I said, you're my favorite character. I think you keep the whole show together. And he's, oh, thank you, young man. You're very kind. Little does he know that I switched to Mr. Worf after Next Generation came out. My favorite Star Trek character. You know,
I will say this though about Shatner, knowing that what you just said. I mean, Shatner has not shied away from the fanhood. As far as I'm concerned, I think that he realizes that, you know, without the fanhood, there would never have been that movie. I mean, they shut down the series after, you know, pretty much shut it down after 3-4 seasons, and that's it. Now you're talking. When did it go off the air? 1968, 69?
69.
69, you did not get a feature film until 1977. Nobody thought anything about Star Trek. I'm sure it was on reruns. I'm sure it was syndicated, but to have a movie made, you know, it's fantastic.
It was a little bit later. It was actually 1979.
Oh, 79?
Yeah,
really?
Because I waited 2.5 hours and waited for that piece of crap.
79. Wow, you waited. God bless you. God bless you.
I was a Trekkie.
So I mean, if it wasn't for, again, the fanhood, I don't know that you would have had the first Star Trek movie. I don't think you would have had that.
No,
so
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a journey. Like they all went through the journey, and Shatner went through it too. I think, you know, all the classic, iconic actors who play these roles, that they, at first they're happy, they have a role, they're acting regularly, and then they're worried about typecasting.
I know.
And then I think Shatner, especially in the later years now, I think he's really embraced fandom and being Captain Kirk and Star Trek, it seems like to me. I mean, he was always there, but I feel like just in the last 10 years, he's really embraced, like, and again, you get older in life, and you probably like, well, this is going to be my legacy. This is what's going to...
Yeah, no, it's legacy.
However, in case you guys don't know what Mr. Shatner is doing these days, he is literally putting out heavy metal albums. Okay?
At 95 years old.
Really?
No joke.
I had no idea.
No joke.
Wow.
Look it up. He just put out a heavy metal album. That woman that I was telling you about, her name is Karen. Recently bought it. We've gotten into vinyl. I got into vinyl recently, which is insane. And I don't have a record player, but she showed me the vinyl record that she got of his. You know, and the reason she got it was because, well, he's 95, and how much longer does he have? He's also on
Yeah.
cereal boxes. He's also on cereal boxes. Bran flakes, some sort of bran flakes that you can buy on.
Oh, that's the commercial in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. Yes.
you can buy them on Walmart, and to help, whatever, and they call him the Shat on there.
The Shat,
Okay,
yes.
so
Yeah, no,
I
it's a
mean,
strange
he's
commercial.
done.
He was always a
He's
pitch
done all
man.
right.
Arco.
I'm sorry.
Always a pitch man. He was always a pitch man.
He was always a pitch man. I
Well,
agree.
he stayed relevant for how many decades? So he's clearly.
I mean, easily 7. I mean, the guy
7
was.
decades.
I mean, I didn't know it until many, many years later, but the guy was in Twilight Zone. He was the
Yeah.
airplane guy, Come on.
The Gremlin episode.
The Gremlin episode,
There was
absolutely.
another episode too that he was in. Yeah, I forget
Yeah.
which one, but yeah. He's.
So
he
he's
was
been
doing
relevant,
TV.
absolutely.
He was doing TV in Canada before he came to America.
I forgot he was Canadian. Well, he was Canadian?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
He was. He is Canadian.
Yeah.
He still is.
He still is.
American man.
Well, I think we've done a pretty deep dive into Galaxy Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts? Any quotes or favorite moments we've not gotten to?
Let me see. Did I say one?
Also, at this late juncture in the podcast, everybody, I hope you watch Galaxy Quest. If not, I think you'd still enjoy it if you just listen to this episode.
Yeah,
I
please
think they
do.
will.
Please do.
I will say my favorite quote is a group of quotes. Literally every scream in this movie is excellent and meaningful. My favorite scream, 2 favorite screams. One is Sam Rockwell when he first gets up there and he gets teleported. Yep, that's one. But the other is when when Tim Allen asks Missy Pyle, like, "Do you talk?" It's like, "Oh, her translator got broken." And then she just goes like, it just cracks me up every time, especially because it's her doing it. So she just opens her mouth and that all comes out, and it just cracks me up.
I also like Laredo's scream too when he hurts his arm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, especially as he's getting carried away.
And
Kicking his
That's
legs.
a callback to Chekhov because he got to be the screamer because he was the best screamer. He got to scream in the motion picture.
yeah.
He got to scream in The Deadly Years.
Mhm.
That's why he doesn't get the plague. He doesn't turn old. It's the
That's
adrenaline
funny.
rush. Yeah. So yeah, this. I'll
The
stop.
screams are great. They are
They're all
they are
good.
perfectly timed, and they are unique, and they are funny every time I
Perfectly
watch them.
placed, yeah. And great comedy relies on not only a great script but great timing. And this ensemble had great timing.
Yeah.
Nothing seemed forced. It all seemed very organic. The timing was great.
Joe, any final flashbacks from you, or?
Well, I could probably name a few more Easter eggs to Star Trek, but I won't. It's flashbacks to Star Trek conventions. Yeah, I stopped going to them in the '80s because they started getting a little weird. Yeah, I mean, I've been a science fiction nerd since I was 10. So,
God bless you.
When this movie came along, I understand what Chris meant before. Like, a lot of people didn't want to go see it because they thought it was goofing on Star Trek. But that's the main reason I wanted to see it. I said, sure, why the hell not? Star Trek did comedy. I want to see something that's making fun of Star Trek. And then I find out it's, like Chris said, and Uncle said, it's a love letter, actually, to Star Trek.
Yeah.
And that's what just made me love this film. Yeah.
Very good. Well, Arco, any final thoughts as a
from
science
the,
fiction fan, a movie fan?
Again, I'm definitely coming at it from the movie fan and the fandom part of it. As you guys are the big Star Trek guys, obviously, but I think at the end when Tim Allen, when he kills, I'm sorry, Saris. I apologize. When he kills him, and then he turns to the fans and he gives them their salute and everything, and they all do it back to him, and he basically is heartfelt, acknowledging them and thanking them in his way right there for being there, for helping them survive, obviously, because if it wasn't for them getting all those codes up there, they wouldn't have survived. But I think the movie just acknowledges all fanhoods, and I think it's something that we can all look back on and we're all fans of something. We're all fans of the same thing, and a lot of different things. And it's nice to know that there are those that we idolize that look back on us and are thankful.
Well said, Arco. I don't think I can close the episode better than that. We'll go off on that. So.
That's basically it.
Well, listening audience, I hope you've enjoyed this look back at Galaxy Quest. Again, I hope you've seen it to enjoy this podcast. If you have stayed to this long, I would go. It's on Amazon. You can rent it. You can buy it. There's plenty of places to get Galaxy Quest. But if you're listening to this, so it's on Tubi.
Yeah, we have to deal with the commercials.
There you go.
Well, if you're enjoying this podcast, then you have not seen Galaxy Quest, you would enjoy it. So I highly recommend it. But of course, I could not have done it without the rest of my crew. Chris, we accidentally hit the wrong button because I don't know what I'm doing on the ship, and he beamed him down accidentally at the planet with the rock monster. But Tech Sergeant Check. We'll take care of it.
Back up.
But I could not have done it with the rest of my crew who's still here. So thank you, Joe.
For that.
Thank you, James. And as I always say, when we do these movie podcasts, I thank you because you get me to watch a film that I haven't seen in a while, or sometimes, in like the case of Star Trek 4, which I've seen 1,000 times. Yeah. But I still enjoy it. I get to see a good film. Like the time we watched the Planet of the Apes, I was so blown away. I hadn't seen that movie in 20 years. So this really made my day, this film. It really did.
Oh,
I really enjoyed it.
That's good to hear, Joe. That's good to hear, yeah. And of course, thank you, Arco.
Thank you, James, and everybody else. I did not have to watch the film. I really was coming from a totally different angle on this one. I've seen it enough times that pretty much memorized all the stuff that we were talking about. But I do love doing deep dives on these things that we all, have seen, enjoyed, and can reminisce back on. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And listening audience, obviously, we always like to hear from you. So if you have ever thoughts about Galaxy Quest, you can share them probably however you're listening to this, however you're choosing to. If you want to talk to Chris and Joe and some of the other people who've been on this podcast, you can join our Discord. You can email me at secretoriginsmc@gmail.com. And as always, we thank you for listening, and never give up and never surrender.